On to football now. Tony Mepham, how you doing? Your weather predictions were correct, unfortunately.
Well, they were, and from what I'm hearing, because you're a little bit out of it down at the Bowl because you're undercover, and when it was absolutely lashing it down, you're on an Astro pitch and there's no sort of pitch getting cut up or whatever. But some of the reports from some of the games today, as the game progressed and the weather got worse, it turned into a bit of a lottery. But we've got some football played. We're into the thick of the winter now, so pitches are going to get wet. We've got rearranged fixtures coming up on the 28th of November and the 5th of December. So hopefully we'll get the bit of a backlog that we've got, and there isn't many out of the way, but it happens. And today we've had some really interesting games and twos and fro's and an absolute shed load of red cards for some reason.
Oh, wow. I wonder what...
I don't know.
Maybe it was the weather.
We'll come to it. We had 4 in one game, but I think we've had near enough 10 red cards today, so it's proved costly.
Is that the most you've ever heard of in a day?
On the amount of games that we've had, Rhian, yes. Right. I'd totally agree, because when you've normally got 26 games on, you'll pick up a few red cards, but none of them were malicious from what I'm hearing. It was just like double bookings or whatever, misinterpretation of the rules where people are coming out of the box and handling it. So you just get on with it. But there's some great stories in the football there today, and it's nice to see.
Well, let's hear all about them. So we'll start in the Premier League, and we've got Douglas Old Boys 2, St George's 2.
Yeah, and it was 1-1 at half-time, 2-2 at the end. Chris Coxon with the goal for Old Boys. Martin King, my old mate there, he got one as well. Old Boys have this habit against St George's, as I've touched on before. They just seem to be able to lift themselves against one of the best teams on the island, and still are. But Chris Bass still got it there. He scored one. Joey Morling got the other one. But this is one of the games. Terrible conditions. Blackberry Lane does struggle a little bit because it's on the slope. They had the pitch inspected just before kick-off, and it was pass fit. One area was a little bit wet, but you get on with it. Sort of 30 years ago, you would have played in whatever. Now they're a little bit more protective, not overprotective, but let's face it, the pitches that they're playing on are class. So, I accept. Groundsman put acres of time in it, and if it's not looking good, don't play it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Moving on to the game that you were at, St Mary's versus Corinthians. St Mary's 1, Corinthians 3.
Really enjoyed this one because when the game kicked off, I thought St Mary's looked actually the better of the two teams. And Steve Priestnall had a chance, great save by Matthew Quirk, and a couple of other chances. They always looked dangerous in the first half when the ball was crossed in, because they're very good in the air. Tom Weir, Frank Jones, Jack McVeigh can all come up with something, but no doubt about it. The first goal was absolutely superb. It was Luke Murray who got it, and then Dan Simpson got the second, and Steve Whitley with the third. Steve Whitley missed a penalty as well. As I might describe it,
I did hear, yes.
It's still catching snow.
Brutal.
I don't know what happened there. Sorry, Steve. But, Corinthians were down to 10 for a good chunk of the second half. Danny Gerrard with his second bookable offence. Corinthians manager got sent off towards the end. And it's just one of them. I spoke to the referee. It's just a passionate manager. He swore, and the rules are quite clear. You can't swear like that. And Blaine got a red card, but he'll get over it. But, St Mary's, when they got it back to 1-1, and Steve Priestnall, it was unfortunate for Chrissy Cannell. Chrissy slipped, and Steve Priestnall got the ball, and you just knew it was going to go in, because Priestnall has that there. He took it well to the keeper's left-hand side, and 1-1, and it gives St Mary's a massive lift, and down to 10. Corinthians found it hard what to do, but Blaine Slattery and the coaching staff there got absolutely spot on. Took Sean Doyle off and put on Tom Callister. Tom worked tirelessly in that midfield with Ronan McDonald, who was like a little engine today with Danny Gerrard. But I just thought defensively they looked so compact, Corinthians. Ryan Burns, immense display by him, Cameron Lee as well. And Phil Kelly on the right-hand side, he's come in, and I can't see him having that spot taken away from him because he's played so well. But Steve Whitley was always a problem. It could have been, I think, honest opinion, at half-time, it could have been quite easily 4-0 to Corinthians, because, Sean Doyle had a couple of good chances. Kirill Valev pulled off 2 or 3 really good saves. Matthew Quirk, a couple of good saves, but really didn't have a lot to do because the defence was so solid. And it was a great display, I thought, of football by both teams. I thought St Mary's are still a force to be reckoned with, no doubt about it, but Corinthians are looking strong, and if they can keep their heads and play like they're being asked to play, the discipline, the effort and everything else, then I think it could be a good season for Corinthians, but there's a long way to go.
If those teams can play as well as you've described on a day like today, then surely on a Bluebird day, it'll be next level.
Well, he will, but the bowl, people always say the bowl plays better when it's really wet, and we had 2 or 3 really heavy showers down there. Huge crowd. What an advertisement. Brilliant. For Manx football. A lot of neutrals, because there's a lot of games off. They came down to watch 2 of the top sides, and to me, they were entertained. They can't argue for the pound entrance in, and I really enjoyed it. Obviously, I'm a Corinthians person and the result, but I look at the display, and if Corinthians had got beat and that was the same style of game, I would have said I'll have it, because the football was close. It wasn't sort of big balls over the top. It was clever, and there was a lot of talent on show there from both teams.
Well, it's fantastic to hear that people came out in the rain to support. That's fantastic. It looks like Douglas Royal managed to hold their own against Laxey. Douglas Royal 2, Laxey 3.
Yeah, and this is the game with a bit of a story, and I've got a bit of a match report in here, but I'm going to be clever on it, because there's bits of information in there. Right, let's have a look at this one here first. Let's have a look at the goal scorers. Douglas Royal, Dominic McCarry-Brennan, who I rate highly. He's a young lad. He's a little whippet. There's not much meat on him, but my word, he's got some skill there, and he's a centre forward. Clubs are always looking for centre forwards. Michael Fitzmaurice has got a real good player there. Taylor Andrews as well is a cracking player. He got one, and it was 3-2 at one stage. Michael Fernandez got a goal from the penalty spot, and this was the first turn of the game when Harry Horbury got sent off. It was 2 bookings. First one, I think he came out of the box possibly, I'm not 100% sure, and the second one for whatever, so he got sent off, so they lost their goalkeeper. But Michael got the penalty, Ryan Gartland got a goal, Jordan Cooper got one. I'm still looking for 2 goal scorers, if you could please, because there's 2 late goals. Now, there was 4 red cards in a game with 1 bad tackle. This is the view of this person. 2 players and a spectator for Royals, and a Laxey player for a terrible challenge late on. We had to play approximately 65 to 70 minutes with 10 players, and then went down to 9 and conceded 3 goals in the last 10 minutes. And that was from Douglas Royal, but by all accounts, a great game. Douglas Royal battled hard, but Laxey's more experience shone through. And the problem is now for Douglas Royal is they've got 2 important games coming up against Marouane and St John's, and they're going to be missing, quality players. So that might just, put them under a little bit of pressure at the bottom of the table.
And speaking of Marouane, they beat Peel, even though they are below them in the league table. Marouane 2, Peel 1.
Yeah, whatever. I know there's a Melia on in Crosby tonight. Anyone who's flying past, nip in and get some spuds or whatever. But at the moment, Marouane are unbelievable.
Flying high.
I watched them last week. They've drawn with Russian. They beat St George's. Now they've beaten mighty Peel. So there's something, whatever they've got in the beer at the Crosby, then I would say we'll all go there, because they took the lead early on in the 18th minute. Matthew McQuarrie with the penalties. Well done, Matthew, holding your nerve. And then on 64 minutes, Cameron Avery made it pretty well secure for them to make it 2-0. But Billy Kenyick got one on 77 minutes, so it was quite a nervous 13 minutes towards the end. But Peel couldn't get that second goal. Marouane held their nerve. And, Marouane, to me now, those 3 points will probably make them safe. There's still a bit to go, but they're bonus points, they're big points, and they've got them, and well done to everyone at Marouane.
And we've just had a text in going back to the Douglas Royal game, saying Hornbury got his second yellow for coming off his line, according to Laxey Twitter.
Okay.
And then the final game in the Prem, Douglas Athletic 4, St John's 2.
Yeah, what about this one in as well? And thanks for the report on this. It's really good when you get the true information. Really good fight between 2 sides who are battling for the points. They're battling for Premiership survival. If we can just top up the goal scorers for Athletic, Martin Cowan got 1, Reece Lake got 1, but I'm still missing 2 on that one. For St John's, Paul Whitehead and Sam Beatty were the goal scorers, but Stuart Nean, the referee, and he's a top referee. There was quite a heated situation in the game, and Stuart is just getting applauded for the way he handled it. I don't know what's happened, but there were 2 red cards, one for Athletic, one for St John's, Kieran Court for St John's, Nick Ford for Douglas Athletic. But you know that Stewart's intervention, whatever he's done, has stopped a big problem. So well done to Athletic for winning. I know I was hard on them at lunchtime. I was hard on them last week, but they needed it because that wasn't a display from an Athletic side that they did last week. But they've got it right today. It gives them hope. They've still got games to come up where they can get some points. But for St John's, it's looking troublesome for them because they've still only got those 5 points and they've played maybe 14 games now, 15 games. There's a problem.
Well, you should badmouth clubs more often if it results the way it has done in Douglas Athletic's favour today. Moving on to JCK Division 2, and we've got Ramsey Youth Centre 4, Castletown 1.
Yeah, good game this one. I don't know how the scoring went, but Alex Crawley got the goal for Castletown. But for Ramsey Youth Centre, under a bit of pressure with the recent results, but they got it right today. Jamie Brew with 2 goals, Jason Crane on the score sheet again, and Jack Gilbert. Now, I've just seen it, I saw a picture during the game I was at of Jack Gilbert, who was driven to Ramsey Cottage Hospital because he had a real nasty gash above his left eye.
Oh, yes, I heard you saying.
Not a problem. It was just one of those. 2 guys went up for the ball and they clashed heads. I'm glad to say that he's got a black eye and a pretty nasty gash on his eye. No stitches required. He's in good fettle. There's no problem. If his dad had banged his head, I wouldn't have worried about his dad because there's not a lot up there. But Jack's a sensible lad. So, speedy recovery, Jack. He'll be back out. I'm sure he might not be able to play next week or bandage it up. But for Ramsey Youth Centre, the important thing for them was 3 points.
Good game for Ronken. Ronken beat Malou 2-1.
This is a terrific result, and another match report in on this one. Very tough game for Malou today, probably the toughest team we have played after Union Mills. Game started and we went into the game with a full team. Swanee, Noxie, Paddy Cooper back, Paddy on the bench, played the first half against the wind. And after hitting the post within the first few minutes with Swanee, Ronken scored with Joe Rees netting a scrappy ball from a cross. Once again we tried to push, but Ronken broke on the counter, and the evergreen Paul Whitley, and he's a little bit mature in age, but my word, he can still finish. Took the goal very well by putting the ball under the keeper's legs. Nothing much in the first half, went into the second half, hoping to change the trend. Across from Jamie Skillen, then pulled a goal back with Paddy Cooper scoring. We had loads of chances like Ronken and just couldn't convert it. A talking point is a penalty given by the linesman, but overruled by the referee. Credit where credit is due. Ronken played a very clever game. Their defence was brilliant. Big shout out once again to their keeper, saving a few certain goals. Well deserved win for Ronken. Shame really, but we need to dust this off and go again. What a report that is, and an open report from a team that's just been beaten, who are challenging to get promoted.
That's fantastic. The right way to lose, isn't it?
Fantastic honesty. Well done, Dario. Everyone knows Dario. Great report. Ronken 3 points. Malou unfortunately didn't get any points, so they stay second.
And wonderfully read, I might say. Michael 3, Braddon 5. And we got a text through saying this was a very decent game.
It was, and I've got here that it was 3-2 to Michael at one stage. I know it was 3-3, and I think there was about 2 minutes to go. And Braddon got 2 goals. Jeff Murphy again, another evergreen. Jeff's been a Masters player for 7 years, so Jeff is 43, sorry Jeff. So he's got 3. Nick Harvey got 1, Lee Cura got the other 1. Fraser Campbell got 1 for Michael. Tony Pinto got 2. And the notes we had, decent game.
The Douglas and District Paul Rose game that was postponed, as was the Governors Athletic versus Gyms game. So finally in Division 2 we've got Union Mills 3, Colby 1. Yeah,
and a great result under sad circumstances. Ryan Kelly with 1, Luke Booth got the second goal, Jordan Crawley with the third. Steve Collister got a goal for Colby, so that's a great result for Union Mills. Colby will be happy enough. I don't think 3-1's a beating, but just in case people aren't aware, Vince Watkins, the chairman of Union Mills, unfortunately died this week, and Vince is a mainstay, or was a mainstay of Union Mills. Incredible guy who's done so much hard work to put the club where it is, to where it's going, and everything else. And I'll miss his smiley face and his beard and everything else, because he had a wicked beard on him. But what a pure gentleman and a pure football supporter who always looked at the games fairly, even though he was Union Mills chairman. And he will be sadly missed. He really will be, because he is just such a nice man. And my thoughts, and the Isle of Man FA's thoughts, and I'm sure the Isle of Man football fraternity send their regards to Union Mills Football Club and to Vince's family.
Very well said. Moving on to Combi 1, and there was only one game in this league that managed to go ahead, and that was between Russian and Ramsey. Russian came out on top 5-3.
Yeah, and it's an important game as well for Russian, because Russian are challenging towards the top. But Aaron Hawley, I'm sort of picking on the older people today, but you know, Aaron's a
You always
player.
pick on the older people.
I do, because they deserve credit. Because
That's true.
I remember when I was 35, and that's a long time ago. I wouldn't be playing senior football, that's for sure. But Aaron today, rolling back the years, he got 3. Jamie Callender got 1, and Kyle Lund got the other one. 3-3, I think it was at half time. 5-3 at the end.
And in Combi 2, again, just one match managed to go ahead, and that was between Colby and Union Mills. Colby 1, Union Mills 5.
Yeah, and I've got, I think in now, I have, yes. I've got Union Mills goal scorers in. They won 5-1. I've got Colby's, I've got here a 6-inch Thunderbolt. Well, 6 inches?
Yes.
Was it a tap-in?
Well, so the chap rang me and said that exact phrase, a thunderbolt. He said it was unreal.
Well, 6 inches is not very far away, is it?
I didn't understand. I was just like, oh, great.
It could be 6 yards, I don't know. But Nigel, he's a Masters player. Nigel's 50. He's got to be 50. He's got to be. And he's got a ponytail. Wicked. But for Union Mills goal scorers, Jackson Gatt got 1. Owen Shimon got a goal. Henry Smith, Bailey Ashton, and Dylan Campbell got the other one. And Foxdale's just put a comment in. Just waiting to read that. No, it's just regarding our under 18s. It's okay.
Okay. All good?
Yeah, good day. Good day with the weather. We were going to do the FA Cup draw, but we haven't got quite right with the sponsors at the moment, because the sponsors are in UK.
Right.
We want to give them maximum publicity. ECAP FA Cup is a huge competition. We've got news coming out next week. We've got a sponsor, I'm delighted, for the Railway Cup, so we'll bring you all that next week. And also on Monday, the announcement of the Isle of Man national side squad when they play FC Isle of Man on the 16th of December.
That'll be exciting.
We're going to start pushing that game, because it's all for charity. It's all for Craig's Heart. And I know everyone is starting to talk about it, looking forward to it. First time it's ever happened, and I'm delighted. I spoke with him this morning. Kevin Manning has been invited as the guest of honour now. Kevin, probably a new name to you, but he managed the Ireland team with distinction for 15 years. Kev's not been so well of late, but he still goes out and watches the games and stuff like that. And he looked in good form this morning. And I know the family are delighted that Kev's going to be there. And it's going to be about him. It's going to be about the football games. And also it's coming up to Christmas time, so hopefully we'll get a good crowd.
Yeah, I think that'll be a lovely setup. Do you want to drop Kevin's age into the mix? Just
Actually, I know Kev's age, and he won't mind, because he might not be listening. Kev's 67.
Oh, okay. And on that note, thank you very much. How old am I? A lot younger than 67. Thank you very much, Tony Mepham.